Welcome back to Brick by Rick. Today we're going to be doing a prediction. In this case, it is going to be between the current Vice President, J.D. Vance, on the Republican side. Then on the Democratic side, we will be going with AOC. She's a congresswoman from New York. And I will be able to classify each of these states. I do think that Maine is going to be, and then we'll have the district there. But yeah, we're going to be going through. I've classified, it looks like pretty much all of the swing states have yet to be characterized. I will start out, let me see, I'm still missing one lean. So I've characterized all the safe, likely, and lean states. So we'll be going through each of these swing states. There are a couple different swing states just due to the nature of this specific matchup. So it is far more likely that Vance will be the Republican nominee than AOC will be the Democratic nominee. She's been floated as a possible contender. Personally, I don't know if she would have the ability to win the Democratic primary, and I do think that when it got to the general election, that it would be a fairly difficult road ahead for Democrats should they go with AOC as their candidate. I do think she's got some appeal to some key voting demographic blocks, but I don't think that it would be much of a chance of winning. As you can see, we've got some states here that aren't generally considered swing states for Democrats, but may turn out to be so, just because AOC is a bit more politically extreme. And Vance certainly isn't a moderate by any regard either, but he would likely be seen as more of a moderate between the two candidates, which can help win over some key voting blocks. So I will start out then just on the West Coast, and then we'll move eastward. So we have the blue Pacific Coast there of Washington, Oregon, and California. Unless something truly insane happens, maybe Oregon could go, but it most likely almost certainly will be in the Democratic column. Then we get to the state of Nevada. I do think that in Nevada, it would be a difficult situation for AOC to win. Just kind of dislike, I guess, of the democratic socialist kind of messaging. I don't think would play out very well in Nevada. They did vote for Biden in 2020 and then went to Trump in 2024. And I do think if the candidates were AOC and J.D. Vance, that J.D. Vance would probably win. And then this next state, a few of these might be lean. We're going to get to that part later. But we're going to go now to the next state, which is going to be the state of Arizona. Arizona, I'm fairly consistent in classifying this as a Republican state. I do think that it would take quite a bit for AOC, especially AOC, to be able to have a chance of winning in the state of Arizona, but not the most likely, so I'm going to go with a lean Republican rating prediction for that. And then in the district there in Omaha, I think this would be close. Harris did win it, so it's got a good chance of going blue. I'm actually going to go blue. I think it'll be close, but AOC might be able to win the Omaha district. Definitely a close call, though. We'll have to see. Well, first of all, we'll have to see if these two candidates emerge from their primaries, which isn't super likely for the Democrats, but we'll have to see. And then we will get to, there's going to be a bit more good news. I'm actually going to skip over to the East Coast there. I do think that Minnesota and New Hampshire would probably be close, but that they would ultimately go to AOC. So that is going to be 14 more electoral college votes for AOC. And then we have the 3 Rust Belt states, as well as the 2 Sun Belt states in the southeast. So I do think a state that that's fairly easy to characterize, it would be the state of North Carolina. It would most likely end up in the Republican column. Hasn't gone to a Democrat on the presidential level since 2008 when it went for Obama. But I do think that in this matchup it would go to J.D. Vance. And then as far as the state of Georgia, actually, I think I'll characterize that as being 16 more electoral college votes for J.D. Vance. It is by tilt margin, so a little bit closer. So we'll have to see if that ends up being the case. Then with that, we just have the 3 Rust Belt states. So in order for AOC to win, she would have to win all 3, and then it would be a barely win, would be right at 270. And J.D. Vance just needs to win really just one of these 3 states. I do think that in the state of, I think Wisconsin and Michigan are probably the most likely to go to AOC. I'm just going to go with Wisconsin and Michigan. Like I said, these 3 states are going to be close. It is going to be competitive, but I do think that the state of Pennsylvania would not go well for AOC, and that it would be roughly a 300 electoral college vote victory for the Republican, J.D. Vance, against AOC's 250 or so. So definitely a win for the Republicans. J.D. Vance was able to win pretty much all but 2 of the swing states. So definitely a big win for J.D. Vance. But yeah, feel free to let me know if you have any questions. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.